Break out the pigskin, dust off the helmets. It's the Season 2 premiere of FCIAC Football Fast Five right now. Hello and welcome to the Season 2 premiere of the Daily Voices FCIAC Football Fast Five. I'm Eric Gendron, and back with me for another season of FCIAC analysis, Kevin Jones, former Stamford High School head football coach and agent for JL Sports. We're going to get right to it. If you haven't seen us before, the format is simple. Just 5 burning questions about FCIAC football, and Kevin's going to answer them. You ready to go, Kevin?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. All right, we're going to start the show off with talking about 2 teams the Daily Voice doesn't actually cover, the 2 Trumbull teams, but how they perform this season is really going to affect how the rest of the FCIAC turns out. Kevin, will Trumbull and St. Joe's turn it around, and how much is that going to affect the rest of the league?
Well, listen, both teams were a little bit of a disappointment last year. I talked about it at mid-season. I said, if those guys can pick it up in the second half of the season, they could really cause some problems for people, and it didn't happen. I think this year St. Joe's has a more favorable schedule, especially down near the end of their season, where they can win a lot of games and possibly get into the playoff picture in their division. I think it's going to be harder for Trumbull, but if Trumbull does win, they will cause a big ripple effect throughout the FCIAC that's going to really change the landscape for that FCIAC championship game.
All right, so the season kicks off on Friday. Kevin, whose stock do you see rising this season in 2012, and whose stock is going down?
Hey, 2 teams that I like, whose stocks rising, are Norwalk and Ridgefield. Both teams were playoff teams last year, so it doesn't mean that their stock's going to rise that much. They were pretty good to begin with. But I really like Norwalk. They got one of the biggest teams in the league, offense and defensive line. Very physical, cause matchup problems for everybody. They're going to be able to run the football. Ridgefield, they made the playoffs last year and had a really disappointing outing against Staples and quite frankly, really got beat up in that game. I like to see them go a little bit farther in the playoffs this year. Really, really good defense. They're running the 3-3, very impressive in their scrimmage. A lot of team speed, and they've got Connor Rowe back, who's probably the best returning quarterback in the FCIAC. As far as stock going down, hey, look, New Canaan lost not just the best quarterback in the league last year, but probably one of the best quarterbacks the league has seen in many years last year. And they've got 2 kids that are going to try and take over this year. Are they going to be good? Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good. But it's going to be a tall task to repeat what they did last year. But they've got a lot of questions to answer. And Greenwich, with all the injuries they have at quarterback now, they've got a lot of questions to answer. So we'll have to see going forward if those guys can step up and not lose stock on their way to the FCIAC game.
And we'll get to Greenwich in just a few moments here. And whose stock is going to stay the same, who's going to stay right at the top, and who's thinking that they can improve but is going to stay at the bottom?
I think the one team that we've both discussed that's going to stay at that high level will be Staples. They're kind of reloading again. A lot of tests on their schedule, but I think they're the team kind of to beat right now. They're the one that everyone's gunning for. And the next team, we don't talk about them a lot, but a lot of people in the league are talking about that. Their numbers are up, and that's West Hill. But, it's the old saying, I'm from Missouri, all right? It's time to show me, West Hill. You want to get better? You want your stock to rise? This would be the year to do it. If you've got numbers, prove to us that you can be a winning team.
All right, and that brings us to our Daily Voice Game of the Week this Friday, 7 p.m. at Tiger Hollow Stadium. Ridgefield hosts Greenwich. Once again, it's a huge game to kick off the season. And we had some breaking news over the weekend. Greenwich starting quarterback Liam O'Neill broke his finger. According to the Greenwich Time, he's going to be out for at least the first 5 weeks of the season. Throwing another wrinkle into all of this, backup quarterback Jose Melo is questionable for the start on Friday, and they might have to turn to defensive back Alex McMurray to start at quarterback. So, Kevin, with all these wrinkles thrown into this game, how's this one going to shake out?
Well, just like last year, this is going to be a really big game to start off the season. And Alex McMurray, senior defensive back, might have to play quarterback. And it's early in the season. We never know if the coaches are telling the truth or not. But he's probably going to wind up being the starting quarterback. And you never want to lose your starter, your backup, and be with your third guy in game 1. I mean, that's obvious. But, again, he's a senior. He's probably a leader, has been in that program. I don't know how much of an effect it's going to have. He's a very athletic kid, plays basketball, may be able to run him a little bit more, may be able to cause some problems for Ridgefield. Like I said earlier, Ridgefield, really, really tough football team in their scrimmage that I saw. Running that 3-3 defense, a lot of speed, guys, blitzing all over the place, and offensively with Connor Rowe coming back, doesn't matter who the receivers are, he's going to get them the football, get it in space, and let them make plays. So, I like Ridgefield in this game. I think it's going to be tough for Greenwich to win. But last year, ugly game, defense and special teams had an effect on the outcome of the game. But I like Ridgefield.
All right, and finally, the most important question here: who is the favorite to win the FCIAC Championship, and who's going to be right there with that favorite, possibly in the championship game?
Well, we both agree that Staples is probably the team to beat right now in the FCIAC. I like them to return to the FCIAC game. Very experienced team, very talented team. There's a lot of teams that could play. I really think that Ridgefield right now will be the #1 contender to get into that FCIAC game against Staples. But I like Norwalk. You never count out New Canaan. Greenwich, if they beat Ridgefield, could be on the fast track to the FCIAC game. They almost made it in last year. And then, another team that we haven't talked about is Darien. So all those teams are pretty good. Right now, my picks are Staples and Ridgefield in the FCIAC championship game.
All right, that'll do it for the Season 2 premiere of FCIAC Football Fast Five. Join us every week, every Thursday. We're airing this Wednesday. For the rest of the season, everything will be on Thursdays. So we're really excited for this season of football. Until next time, I'm Eric Gendron.